Now a look at all the latest stories making the headlines this afternoon with the ITV Lunchtime News.
Good afternoon. Tributes have been pouring in from across the political spectrum and beyond for former US President and Nobel Peace Prize winner Jimmy Carter, who has died at the age of 100. The former peanut farmer from Georgia went on to become the longest living American former president. Joe Biden said the world had lost an extraordinary leader, statesman and humanitarian. Anila Dami reports.
My name is Jimmy Carter and I'm running for president.
The 39th President of the United States and only former president to earn a Nobel Peace Prize. Jimmy Carter forged a unique legacy as the longest living president in US history, with his successors paying tribute to his life and work upon news of his death at the age of 100.
America and the world, in my view, lost a remarkable leader. He was a statesman and humanitarian. And Jill and I lost a dear friend.
Former President Barack Obama said President Carter taught all of us what it means to live a life of grace, dignity, justice and service. President-elect Donald Trump said, while I strongly disagreed with him philosophically and politically, I also realised he truly loved and respected our country. The White House, Jimmy Carter's home in 1977, is flying the flag at half-mast for 30 days, staying this way during Donald Trump's inauguration.
I'll never tell a lie. I'll never make a misleading statement.
Jimmy Carter, a peanut farmer from Georgia, promised honest politics after the Watergate scandal, walking to the White House in a symbol of being at one with the people, a sentiment he continued in his work post-politics, building homes for the poor well into his 90s despite battling cancer.
Very sad that he's gone. I think, what more could he have done? He lived a very full life.
He talked to me like I was a normal person.
It's a great loss for our world. He's one of the greatest men of peace, but also one of the greatest friends to the world.
Iran was one of Carter's biggest challenges in office, but he's also being remembered for the historic peace treaty he brokered between Israel and Egypt and foreign policy work well into his 80s, with the UK Prime Minister saying it was that lifelong dedication to peace that saw him receive the Nobel Peace Prize. And King Charles saying he was a committed public servant and devoted his life to promoting peace and human rights.
America must always stand for these basic human rights at home and abroad.
Across America, institutions and the people within them are remembering Jimmy Carter and his life dedicated to human rights in the US and around the world.
Tributes to President Jimmy Carter, who has died at the age of 100. In other news, 5 people have been charged in connection with the death of Liam Payne in Argentina. The former One Direction star died in October after falling from a hotel balcony. The 5 accused have been summoned to appear in court. Bereaved families of the 179 people who lost their lives when a plane crash-landed in South Korea on Sunday have spent the night at the airport as they wait for their loved ones' bodies to be released. The Jeju flight from Thailand skidded off the runway before crashing into a wall and bursting into flames. Officials believe the plane's landing gear may have malfunctioned after a bird strike, although investigations continue into whether other factors were involved. A warning Chloe Keady's report contains distressing footage from the scene.
Emergency workers are picking their way through the wreckage of one of the worst aviation disasters in South Korea's history. Towering above them, the charred remains of the only piece of this plane that's still recognisable. It had been full of families on their way home from Christmas holidays in Thailand when it crashed as it tried to land, killing 179 people. Inside the airport, where desperate relatives camped out overnight, shock turned to anger, with many still waiting for their loved ones to be officially identified.
저는 정부에 요구해야 되는 부분은
Speaking on behalf of all of the bereaved families, this man said, "We are demanding that the government should bring in more experts to help recover the bodies. The most important thing is the victims' dignities and the fact that they need to be treated well." It's now been revealed that the pilot of this Boeing 737-800 reported a bird strike moments before it went down, skidding along the tarmac before leaving the runway and exploding as it hit a concrete wall. Visiting the crash site this morning, South Korea's acting president ordered an emergency safety inspection of the country's entire airline operation. According to his aviation chief, there are 101 B737-800 series planes being operated in South Korea. He said, "We're looking into the possibility of conducting investigations on these planes." The families of those who died are also demanding to know why the plane's landing gear apparently failed to deploy. It's one of many unanswered questions at the beginning of what promises to be a long and complex investigation. Chloe Keedy, ITV News.
Weather warnings are in place for much of the UK, with heavy snow, rain and wind set to cause travel disruption on New Year's Eve. In Scotland, the rain is already causing issues on the railways, and there's concern over more downpours and snow until tomorrow night. Forecasters warn strong winds could also disrupt transport in Northern Ireland and across much of England in the coming days. Finally, world #1 chess player Magnus Carlsen is rejoining a major competition after being fined for wearing jeans, which is a direct violation of the rules. The 34-year-old walked out of the World Rapid and Blitz Chess Championships in New York on Friday after being told to change his attire, which he refused. Since then, the sport's governing body has agreed to relax its dress code. That's it. ITV News is back at 6:15. Until then, do enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye.